This is Raphael Dawkins, Combat Radio. Live chat, live talk with Raphie. Started pretty much on time. Waiting for people to populate the area. Waiting for people to populate. Maybe I should have started at 9:30. Maybe that's a better time. Who knows? But I need to carry on for those people who are going to be watching this on playback. Where are we? Okay, so the first topic for discussion. Well, first of all, let me just, I'll tell you a little story. I have just completed a video made for someone who came into one of my videos and left a message. And the message was along the lines of, actually, give me a second, let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Tommy Tempers just asked me if I'm doing a show tonight, and the answer, I'll answer him live, is yes, bro. We are live. Oh, Hamid's in the place. Yes. You crept up on me, Hamid. That's that stealth training you got there. Hamid is in the house with his stealth training. Salute to you, Hamid. Stick around. People will soon be coming in. Let me see. I'm just telling the people about a message I received earlier on. Where are we? Yes, that's stealth training, Hamid. Comes in handy. Right, so I'm telling people about the message I received earlier on, and I made a video response. When people come out of here, the live chat, they can go and check it out. People who aren't in the live chat and are watching this on replay can go check it out. It's called A Message to All Those Too Slow to Understand What Barry Hearn Was Saying. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. Where are we? Oh, here we are. Here we are. So the message went as follows. Mr. Dawkins, I hate to change the narrative, but have you seen the interview given by Barry Hearn? It's very interesting. Indeed. Settles a lot of arguments. Nullifies a lot of narratives, if you know what I mean. Anyway, keep doing what you're doing, lad. I responded, yes, I've seen that video yesterday. I think I commented on it. It was very weak. No bracing necessary. I've done a video dismantling I've done videos dismantling other pieces of his. Yes, the geezer is in the house. The geezer is in the house. I'm good, geezer. Good to see you. There's you, Hamid, Ped's coming back. Tommy Temper, I just messaged him. He asked me what's going on. Ped is back in the house. Tommy Temper is back in the house. Yes, yes, yes. So, guys, I'm just reading a little, going through a little scenario situation I've just been in. A guy responded to one of my videos asking me if I'd seen the Barry Hearn video and what was my response. Yes, yes, yes was my answer. And my response is as followed. As follows. Yes, I have seen the video and I've dismantled that guy Barbershop's videos in the past. And this fellow LDC, LDBC, GTB fellow said, look, forget about your narrative. How's the sound, by the way, guys? How's the sound? 1, 2, 1, 2. How's the sound? How is the sound? The sound, the sound, the sound. Okay. So, what's going on? I'm not getting any notifications. The sound is good for my subscriptions on YouTube. Yeah, Tommy Temper. One. Tommy, thank you. The sound is good. Yeah, Tommy Temper, what I recommend you do, mate, is you hit the bell icon, one, and then so it's off, and then hit it again so it comes back on. I think sometimes that works for people. That goes out to everybody. Thanks for the sound check. Yeah, that goes out to everybody. If you're having any issues, problems with getting notifications from anywhere, not just me, just hit your bell icon once, so it should be off, and then hit your bell icon again, and it should reactivate. Okay, so this fellow responds, listen, or look, forget about your narrative for a second. Doesn't it make you feel a little uncomfortable in your skin? Some things are more important than boxing, my friend. Once again, we're talking about the Barry Hearn situation. So I respond, I just made a video on it. I respond, I think I know what you're getting at. Not uncomfortable at all. Highly hilarious, yes. If you studied history, you would know that every breed of people have been subjugated and downtrodden at some point. And Hearn was referring to his boxers, black, white, pink, and yellow. This fellow, who shall remain nameless, responded, what history have you been reading? The fact that you are not uncomfortable but find it funny is very disturbing. But hey, each to their own. And I respond, when I was running, he responds with the quote from Barry Hearn. I shall attempt to do it in Barry Hearn's voice. When I was running boxing, it was much easier. We were slave traders. We had these guys and they were working for us. And we was the boss. The pendulum has swung. Now I have to say, Mr. Dillian White, I have to be respectful. He quotes Barry Hearn and says, shake my head. You're comfortable with this? Yes, Messai Lingard. Yes, yes, yes. Tommy Temper, I'll get back to that in a sec, Tommy. But good that you did. Yeah, so my response to that was, what's there to be disturbed about? He's highlighting the boxer-promoter relationship of the past. Obviously, they weren't literally slaves, and the promoter wasn't literally a slave master. But Barry is drawing a parallel between that time and now to show how the times have changed. Why you got your panties all up in a bunch? Are you a fighter from that era who got a shoddy deal? Right. Right. So I made a video response to that guy because he just didn't seem to be getting through. His last quote was what? As I said, mate, each to their own. Obviously, they weren't literally slaves, and the promoter wasn't literally a slave master. This is the exact opposite of what Hearn said. So this guy is maintaining that this is the exact opposite of what Hearn said. How is that the exact opposite? That's why I just made a video. I was thinking about doing a video, and then I did a video just so he can watch it again and again and again. And these types of people can watch it again and again and again and again and again, as much times as they need to watch it till it sinks into their, I don't want to say thick skulls, but I'm going to have to say thick skulls, until it sinks into their thick skulls. It is not a race matter. It is not a color issue. It is not a color issue. Anyway, the video's there. For those watching this on playback, you guys in the chat, if you haven't already seen it, go check it out after we've finished with this live chat. And leave your feedback. I'll be interested to hear your feedback because I think I've broke it down in a simple way as is humanly possible. Okay, we're going back. We're going back now. So yeah, Tommy Temper says if for reference to people who don't know, Tommy Temper is referencing something we discussed in the last show, the Red Legs of Barbados. Go check it out. Tommy Temper, I looked at the Red Legs and it was an eye opener. Yes, yes, incredible. It was an incredible eye opener. Ped says, lol, Tommy Temper, you articulate better than Barry. Thank you. The geezer, they always take the wrong narrative. Yeah, I mean, they always take the wrong narrative, and it makes me. At first, I thought they did it deliberately, but now I'm wondering whether it really is a mental deficiency, whether no group of people collectively can seriously be that dumb. Yes, Jake Cleary is in the house. Yes, yes, yes. I am good. I am getting better at setting this thing up. As you will know, Ped knows because I set it up early in the morning, a.m. I think it was something like 6 a.m. I was up and about, ready for work, and I set up the notification of the live chat. I don't know. Do people see that? Theoretically, people see that. Who are we here? It says this message was held for review. I'm even getting better at catching those things. It was Ped, and yes, it is good show. So yeah. So yes. Set it up in the AM. And so all you have to do once you've set up your live chat and you've set the reminder, all you have to do when you come back to it is press a couple of buttons and it's go. You know, press a couple of buttons and it is go. Yes, saw that straight away. Came in early, gave a yes. Yes, Jake. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. And while we're here, while the place is getting populated, you were in the chat over at was it Ringside Reporter yesterday. So we may as well talk about some more preamble stuff. It was interesting. Actually, this could be the first topic. Where's my pen? Where's my pen? Yeah, it will be the first topic. 1B, 1A. People who miss it, they can catch it on the replay. Okay, so 1A. Miller. Jarrell Miller. Miller is, ringside. Miller has received a 6-month ban. Yeah, Warstand is in the house. Miller has welcome, Warstand. Appreciate you coming. Miller has received a 6-month ban. Now, people were in the chat last Monday. Do you remember whether that news had come out yet? Monday, it would have come out. We're Wednesday. So that news would have come out Monday, Wednesday. So we would have discussed the fact that he only got a 6-month ban. Unless, what's good? Yes, AD is in the house. Jake Cleary, Ped, big up every time. Yes, AD, welcome. Good to see you in here, bro. So the 6-month ban, what will that do? 6-month ban. Yeah, Tommy Temper says, what will 6-month ban do? Yeah, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it's not even a 6-month ban. It's a 6-month suspension from the WBA. Yeah, it's a 6-month suspension from the WBA. I don't even know if we talked about it. 6-month suspension from the WBA. He only fights once or twice a year, so it does absolutely diddly squat. All it does is it means that he will have some time to clear the peds out of his system. The stuff that he had in his system, it's going to take time to clear anyway. So he would have needed that time to get clean. And then we have to discuss this 6-month suspension, not from the Athletic Commission, but from the WBA. The Athletic Commission can't suspend him because he's not licensed. But the governing bodies can of the organization, the WBA, the IBF, WBC, etc., etc. So it's going to fall on them to hand out their suspensions. Now, he can't be ranked in the WBA for 6 months. His manager, Cohen, has said he won't be fighting for 6 months. He's not going to challenge anything. He's going to do his 6 months, and then he'll come back. To call it a slap on the wrist is it's even less than a slap on the wrist. He needs that time to clean out. Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah, Tommy Temper said we did talk about it. Only the WBA. Yeah. I saw reports that the WBO had given him a suspension. When I look back, when I've done my internet research, I don't see anything from the WBO. So at this time, the only body which has suspended him as of now, as we're talking now, is the WBA. Hit that like button, folks. And actually, I'm going to join you. I'm going to hit the like button too. In fact, I think everybody has. Yeah, wicked. Respect. So there we have it. Like I told you before, originally when it happened, this guy is pretty much going to get off scot-free. He's going to get off scot-free. 6 months isn't even a suspension because he needs that time to get clean. Now, my next question is, who is to say that when he comes back for his first fight that he's going to get tested? Leighton Evelyn is in the house. Big up, and welcome. Who is to say that when he comes back, he's going to get tested? You know, I say the chances of him getting tested on his first fight when he comes back might be minimal. It's going to be a mid-tier fight, a low-ranking fight, a mid-tier fight. Is the promoter going to care to make sure that he's tested? I say perhaps not. Hopefully I'm wrong. But Miller needs to be tested on his first fight back. You know? So that's the first topic that we have dealt with. Let's go into the chat. See what I've missed. Yes, Jay Cleary said, top man, brother. Yes, saw the notification straight away and came in early. Yes, I appreciate that, Jake. Wicked. Yeah, it was ringside that we were on yesterday, and the guy, what was his point? Oh, I'll get to that then. Yes. 6 month ban. What will that do? Exactly, says Tommy Temper. He only fights once or twice a year, says Tommy Temper. Correct. I'm cool with AJ versus Ruiz. Yeah, like me. Yeah, absolutely. He's got testicular fortitude. He does. Must be clean and a better boxer than Miller. Absolutely, that's what Jay Cleary says, and I concur. Eddie said that's just for the rankings. Yeah, partially it's just for the rankings, but he's not going to fight for 6 months anyway, as per a statement made by his promoter or co-promoter, Cohen. Have the WBO dropped him? No. I saw a report that they dropped him, but I did a search, and no, nothing about the WBO dropping him. Pretty sure I read it somewhere or saw it somewhere, saw a video. Actually, I never clicked on the video. I just saw the headline. And I thought that he was dropped because that's what the video said from a reasonably reputable content provider. But no, the guy was mistaken. We did talk about it, only the WBA. Yes, that says Tommy Temper. Is he still ranked within the top 15 of the other bodies? The other bodies, he's yet to be dropped as far as I know. Haven't done a check on that, but yeah, I guess the wheels of justice are moving slow. And even when they move fully, I don't think there's going to be much justice in this situation. I mean, how long has he been on the PEDs? How long has he been fighting? He did it before in his kickboxing career. How many times has he been tested? How long has he been on them? A lot of people. Interestingly, I think it's Duapas who he fought recently. Was it his last fight or the fight before? No, Dino was his last fight. I think he fought Duapas 2 fights ago. Duapas has come out with and once again, I didn't click on the video. My time's limited, but I saw the headline of a video. Duapas chastises the 6-month ban. So yeah, he's beat other people. One can only surmise that he's beat other people whilst he had that stuff in his body, in his blood, in his veins, and that is not fair. But life's not fair. But it's not cool. It's just not cool. Miller needs Vada to come live with him. Yeah, he needs to come live with him. Sorry, yeah, absolutely. Says ID. Leighton Evelyn says, who's paying for Miller's test? Yeah, that's the promoter normally has to pay. In this case, maybe the promoter says, listen, you've been tested dirty. You're going to have to pay the 30 grand for VADA testing. Interestingly, Miller never enrolled in the WBC clean boxing program. I wonder why. Is there any mystery? Is there any mystery to why? My thing's scrolling. I see the little circle scrolling. I don't know why. I've just had fiber. Just upgraded my broadband to fiber, so I don't see why I'm getting that scrolling thing. I should be at the highest level. Mind you, I set this on moderate, the medium level. That was before the broadband got in today. Okay. AD, who's paying? Yeah, Miller should have to pay, Leighton Evelyn. AD, Miller needs Vada to come live with him, absolutely. Leighton Evelyn, he looks small. Ruiz at 6 foot. Ruiz is only 6'2". Ruiz is 6'2". Miller is 6'4", and Joshua is 6'6". So yeah, he's dropped down. Joshua does make people look small, but one thing I can guarantee you, Leighton Evelyn, Ruiz will not look small in the waist. Small in height, but he's not small in the waist. Yeah. So AD, Miller gonna have a bigger VADA bill than than his food bill next year. Very well may be. Miller lives in a syringe, says Jay Cleary. Day one, he's been on him. I think, yeah, well, I mean, come on. It's logical. He's been on him. He's been on that stuff. Leighton Evelyn says Virgin is the best broadband in the UK. It may well be, but they didn't have fiber running past my place, so it's good old BT. But apparently, it's from the junction box to my front door, so it's up there. I have Vodafone fiber is good. Okay, yeah. Well, there's different types of fiber. There's fiber that stops at the junction box, and then they run copper from the junction box to your home. But apparently, but Virgin, they do it from the junction box to your front door. And I'm lucky because where I live, I've got fiber from the junction box to my front door. So some people think they got it to the front door and they haven't. They've got it to the junction box. But I've got it to my front door, just like the Virgin customer. So mine is as good as the Virgin customers. So long as it's coming to your front door and it doesn't stop at the junction box, you are good. Where are we? Did anyone see request UCAD asking about TUEs granted? Very interesting. No, I haven't seen that one yet, Tommy. As round as he's tall, says the geezer. Yeah, closer to the junction box, the better. Well, mine comes from the junction box straight to my front door. So, boom, it's like may as well be the junction box. So I'm good. Only got it today. Haven't really tested it out yet. I set this video before I set up the box. So, the router, sorry. So I'm just on medium latency. Next show, I'll go on high latency, the highest setting, and see how it works out. Okay, so that's the first one covered. And staying with Miller for just another second, on Ringside Reporter last night, there was a guy who is another content provider I found who was on me. He was saying, well, why? You see, I said, their argument, the host argument was that when he comes back, he's going to find it difficult to get fights. But my argument was, hold on a second. He's been getting regular fights at the 300K mark. I think his highest purse thus far has been 500,000. On the PBC side, you have a bunch of guys. You have Al Haymon and co, who have a bunch of guys, high-ranking guys, who they won't let fight outside of the PBC. Marty Fieldman is in the house. Respect, Marty. Glad to have you. Good that you turned up. Marty, we're talking about Miller at the moment. Just finish off with the Miller topic. Right. So I was saying, well, you got the PBC guys, a bunch of high-ranking PBC guys, heavyweights, who Haymon and co don't want to let fight outside of the PBC. They want to keep that PBC thing under an umbrella. They just want their fighters to fight their fighters for their TV deals, TV contracts. We went through this on the first show. Anybody missed the first show, check it out. Right. So my argument was that, of course, Miller is a commodity. Of course, he's a commodity because, one, he's not PBC. Two, they need non-PBC heavyweights because, three, the PBC hierarchy are not playing ball. The PBC hierarchy are not playing ball. You know, Leighton Evelyn says his profile is through the roof. Bad publicity is still good publicity, is still publicity. Absolutely. So if you need, okay, in its simplest term, and there's this guy going back, I'm not going to mention him, he's a content provider. I think he's a USA guy. He's going back and forth with me. I'm trying to enjoy the show. I'm not there for too much of a debate. I just want to enjoy the show. But I have to respond to him. And he says, Miller isn't popular. Why would anybody need him? I don't think I went into it, but I'm going into it now. They need, let's say, let me give you the simplest analogy, just in case that fool watches this. Not nice to call people fools, but just in case this fool watches, let me give you the simplest analogy. Let's say you move to a country, and let's not, I don't want to downgrade any country, so let's invent a country. Let's say it's Orange. You move to a country called Orange. You have a job, you've got a job, you've immigrated to this country called Orange. Orange is a small island. Okay. Now on this small island called Orange, you have to travel 20 miles to work and back. You're fortunate you decided you want to live by the beach. So you've got a beach hut. You live in a nice little beach house, and your job is 20 miles away. And the car market on the island is very poor because they have to import all of their cars. Now, all you can get is a Lada. It doesn't look very nice, but mechanically it is sound. It's an old Lada, bit beat up, but mechanically sound. And the man says, to the showroom says, yes, these cars are our cheapest cars and they go for $5,000. If you want that car, you're going to have to pay the $5,000. You can maybe haggle him down to 4.5, but you're going to have to pay more than you wanted to because it's a limited commodity. A limited commodity. Now, let me talk economics. Not necessarily for you guys, but for anybody who doesn't know, and definitely for the fool. Economics, with basic economics, it tells you that the scarcer a product and if that demand is high for that product, it will sell at a good price, or it will sell at a price that is higher than its book price, then it's higher than its book value, because the commodity is scarce and it is in high demand. Now, heavyweight boxers, high caliber heavyweight boxers, top 10 heavyweight boxers are scarce. There's only a few of them. There's only 10 of them. And there's even less when you take out the PBC guys. And they are in high demand. Scarcity plus high demand raises value. So that's a simple economic equation. So why I would have to explain that to somebody is crazy. But anyway, that's the reason why when Miller comes back, in my opinion, his demand is going to be higher than many people might anticipate. Okay, so that's the Miller topic. That's the Miller topic. People are going quiet. What's going on? People are going quiet. What's going on? Right. So then we move on to Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois speaking out on the story of him knocking down Anthony Joshua in sparring. Controversy equals cash, says Jake Cleary. Absolutely. Now, yeah, absolutely. Latent evidence says, I get you. Yeah. That's how it works. That's how it works. It's not so much right and wrong. It's demand and it's supply and demand. It's the basic concept of supply and demand. So we go on to Daniel Dubois. Okay. Yes, good. I'm boned in and listening. Right. Daniel Dubois is full of it. That says Ped. Leighton Evelyn says Daniel Dubois is full of it. Right. Now I'm going to defend Daniel Dubois a little bit here. And the reason I'm going to defend him a little bit is because he keeps on getting pressed. The press keep on pressing him. They're saying, tell us the story about when you knocked out AJ. Tell us the story of when you knocked out AJ. Well, so he kept his tongue for a long time. And then eventually of late, he said, yeah, I knocked him down. In this last interview, he said, I caught him with some heavy shots and knocked him down. Now, my question is, I'm not even questioning whether it's true or false. It may be true. My question is, how relevant is that to anything? How relevant is it if one fighter of a lower rank knocks down a higher ranked fighter in sparring? How relevant is that? Leighton Evelyn says, Ped says, Giza says, Dubois is just flexing. Well, yeah, but you see, I don't blame Dubois. It's the interviewers. The interviewers constantly ask him that question. So how relevant is it that he knocked down a guy in sparring? In a fight, is there any doubt that Joshua, the landlord, would put Daniel away? Put Daniel Dubois away? I mean, who doubts that? Who doubts? Who in the house doubts that the landlord would dismantle Dubois in a fight? Who doubts that? Okay, I don't see anybody doubting that. So we know it's not a debate. I think it's accepted that in a fight, the landlord Anthony Joshua dismantles Dubois. Therefore, why is it relevant? Why is it relevant? It's not relevant at all. You know, stuff happens in sparring. Things happen in sparring. It's sparring. It's practice. Things happen in practice. You try new things. You try new techniques. You might try the Philly shell for the time, and it might not work out for you. You might try the Philly shell for the first time in sparring, and it may not work out for you. Does that mean you're not a good fighter? Does that mean you're not a great fighter? No, it doesn't. It means that you're experimenting and learning your craft, learning your trade. So getting dropped in sparring is no shame. It's not an issue. It is not relevant, especially as you're coming up, especially as you are rising, learning in the early stages of your career. And even if you're fully experienced, you can lose concentration. It's sparring. People come with different intensities. I've sparred. You have crazy guys. Some people who you think, oh, no, I'm going to have to spar that guy. He's just a nutter. Some people go 100% in sparring. Some people go 50, and some people, and then, you know, go at 50 and then adjust as necessary. And somebody might come in, your new partner, and just go, you know, just go nuts on you. 100%. You weren't expecting it. You thought you would do it playing nice, 50%. And then maybe if it creeps up, it creeps up. Fair enough. But some people just come in and go, I want to knock somebody out. It's just the way it goes. Maybe Daniel wanted to knock somebody down that day and went 100%, no control. There are people like that. I'm not going to say they're bad because sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need that crazy guy. Okay, right. So we've covered Daniel Dubois. And also, should it be the case that what happens in the gym stays in the gym? That was an old philosophy. What happens in the gym stays in the gym. That was an old philosophy. Seems like it's gone by the wayside now, but that was an old principle which may have gone. Okay, so we took care of the first section. The second section, Al Haymon letting PBC fighter fight Joshua. What does this mean going forward? Does this have any implication? Does this have any implications going forward? Does this have any implications going forward? Al Haymon, for those who don't know, Andy Ruiz is a PBC fighter. He's a PBC fighter. He left Bob Arum's Top Rank and joined PBC earlier this year or late last year, but it's a recent thing. So Al Haymon, we know he's not letting the PBC guys out. He's not letting them out to play that much. So is it the case? Is it the case that Al Haymon is lightening up, that he will allow more of this to go on? He will let his fighters fight the top fights outside of the PBC, or rather with non-PBC fighters. And I think the answer is no. It doesn't mean that at all. The situation is that Andy Ruiz, he's a newcomer to PBC. They're not yet invested in him. He just come on the scene with PBC, and so they're in PBC in a no-lose situation. If Andy Ruiz loses, then it's not really a biggie. It's not a biggie. He's just come on with them. No problem. He's lost. He's just come with us. He's lost to the best. So if Andy Ruiz loses, he loses to the best. If he wins, he is now unified heavyweight world champion. So the PBC are in a no-lose situation by letting Andy Ruiz fight Anthony Joshua. Now, so what's the difference with Wilder? Wilder is an entirely, why won't Haymon and Finkel let Wilder fight Joshua? Well, Wilder is an entirely different situation. Marty Fieldman says Ruiz is not blue chip PBC. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Ruiz is not blue chip PBC. So they can risk him. It's fine. It's not a risk. It's a win-win situation. So they will let Ruiz fight because he's not blue chip. They won't let Deontay Wilder fight because he is blue chip. He's blue chip. He's the flag bearer. He's the PBC flag bearer. So if they let Wilder fight Joshua and Wilder loses, that has deep implications for the PBC. Now the PBC have no heavyweight champion. They are not going to let it happen. Therefore, I say to you, and I think I said it before, do not be surprised if Deontay Wilder never fights Anthony Joshua. The PBC would be happier for Wilder to never fight Joshua than to have Wilder fight Joshua and lose. Yeah? So that's the difference between the PBC letting Ruiz fight Joshua and not letting Deontay Wilder fight Joshua. That's the reason. So, yeah, there's been no change. The status remains the same. They are not going to tolerate the possibility. They won't entertain the possibility of losing the heavyweight strap, the one heavyweight strap that remains in the USA. They have one heavyweight strap. All the other straps, heavyweight straps, are in the UK. And that's a big thing. Okay. Right. So, what's going on here about Mike Tyson being shot dead? What's going on here? What is going on here? Mike shot. Well, hold on a sec. Let me just research this. I hope this is a joke. I hope this is a joke. 1 second. Mike Tyson, 1 second. Mike Tyson, enter. $11 hours ago. Oh, no, he's not dead. He's still alive. He's still alive. He's very much alive. What's going on? Mike Tyson shot. No. Marty. Someone chatted shit. Mike Tyson, I mean Logan Paul. Did I say? All right, cool. Okay. Mike Tyson is not dead. Mike Tyson is very much alive. Okay. So let's check some of the messages. Yeah, it's not relevant getting dropped in sparring. Happens all the time, says the geezer. In sparring, I could be practicing using just lefts or exactly. In sparring, you try different things out. That's Leighton Evelyn. Pet, easy work. Easy work for Joshua to finish Dubois. That's what I say. Joshua is a cut above everyone, says Marty Fieldman. I concur. Ped, the landlord, absolutely. The landlord gets it. How long ago was it? 6 years? A long time. Long time. Let's keep bringing it up. That's why I'm addressing it. We can put that to bed. Sparring is practice, says Tommy Temper. I used to spar Barry Jones of BT Sport, and he had to use just defense. But when our trainers wasn't watching, he would punch the living out of me, says Leighton Evelyn. You just say, trainer, please, look what he's doing to me. Look what he's doing to me. Right, should be Bates Frank's idea to spill the sparring bean, says Jack Clear. Absolutely, that seems like a Frank move. You know, Frank is he's one of them geezers, isn't he? Sparring don't mean says Leighton Evelyn. Yeah, it would be better. Well, yeah, absolutely. No, they're just using him and hoping with no faith that he'll win. Right, says the geezer. Ruiz is not blue chip. Have Joshua and Ruiz spar each other? I don't believe they have. I haven't heard no indication that they have. Tommy Temper. One thing I will say is that Ruiz was written off. Ruiz was written off on Ringside Reporter last night by a caller, and I think he's totally wrong. The guy who said it, he said that Ruiz was just going to get battered. I think the guy is totally wrong, absolutely wrong. Ruiz, it is going to be a competitive fight. I'll go on record saying this. Ruiz will cause Joshua problems with his movement, with the way he slips punches and gets on the inside. He gets on the inside. It is going to be a scrap. Anyone who says it's going to be a walkover, I happily disagree with you. It is going to be a scrap. Right, where are we? Trigger Happy J is in the house. Okay, right. Trigger Happy J says, sorry about the autocorrect. No problem. Okay. Will the ref allow Ruiz to work on the inside? Asks Tommy Temper. Well, listen, they need to salvage this bad situation. They need to have a ref who will allow. When I say inside, I don't mean just clinch up on the inside. I don't, but he gets inside. Sorry, he gets on the inside and he throws when he's there. He's not just hugging and cuddling. He's not come dancing. He gets on the inside and works on the inside. So hopefully the ref should have no issues with that. He will get on the inside. Leighton says, but Rafa, I was watching Ruiz fights earlier. His caliber of fighters ain't nothing like Joshua. That is true. However, having said that, I mean, ifs and ands and pots and pans, I know. And, I understand that. But if you look at his fight with Parker, that's Ruiz's fight with Parker, and look at Joshua's fight with Parker. Joshua had more problems with Parker than Ruiz had. Yeah? I know that doesn't necessarily mean everything, but it does mean something. Joshua in that fight, he wasn't his normal self. He wasn't his normal self. He was concerned. He was tactical. Ruiz just got in there and threw. Ruiz got in there and threw. And Parker, he gets criticized, but he does hit hard. Parker does hit hard. I think AJ was a little protected by the ref. Yeah. That was a terrible fight. That was terrible. Well, not a terrible fight, but that was terrible refereeing. It'd been better if you just got out of the way. And listen, I will be critical. I will give an unbiased analysis. In that fight, we learned, and I think Joshua learned, that he needed to fight, know how to fight in the clinch more, and come out and fight coming out of the clinch. When they were coming out of the clinch, Joshua would relax and Park would whip one over. And that was crazy. Joshua cannot do that. He cannot do that. I think he learned his lesson because it was much commented on that when you're in the clinch and you're coming out of the clinch, you still have to be careful and, whip one over. Whip one over. Or else the other guy might whip one over on you. I don't mean when the referee is separating you, but I mean just coming out of the clinch voluntarily. You have to be protected and you have to be prepared to whip some shots in. So that's how I see that situation. So where are we now? Al Haymon PBC. Okay. What time is it now? Okay. Well, that's fine. That takes us up to the last topic. Okay, so the last topic was Ortiz the type of fighter that Barry Hearn was referring to when he talked about a fighter from the past who you don't have to call sir? So that is my opener. Is Ortiz, Luis Ortiz, the type of fighter that Barry Hearn was referring to? The fighter from the past who you don't have to call sir. Let me take a sip of this. It's warm in here. Warm night. Okay. Yeah, Tommy Temper says it was a boring fight, referring to Parker v. Joshua. Yeah, I think it was a horrible fight. It was a horrible fight. The ref got in the way. It didn't let them fight. Parker was on his back foot, tentative, running in, running out, running in, running out. It was like playing a game of tag. Joshua, in my opinion, was tentative, was being very cautious, which is sensible on reflection. Very sensible, but I don't think he had to be as cautious as he was. He was cautious. They were both cautious. It was a fight with two cautious fighters and one over-interfering referee. So that's what made it a boring fight. Ortiz is lying about his age, definitely. Yes, says Leighton Evelyn, totally, 100%. Joshua fought conservative in the Parker fight, in my opinion, says Tommy Temper. He totally did. I think AJ was a little protected by the ref. Yep. I was watching Ruiz fights earlier. His caliber of fighters. Yeah, that's true. His caliber says Leighton Evelyn. That is true. Caliber of fighters is not great. Will the ref allow Ruiz to work on the inside? Well, Ruiz fights on the inside. He doesn't kind of cuddle on the inside. So, yes, I think he will. And like I just said, Leighton Evelyn said Ortiz is lying about his age. The geezer says Ortiz does no talking. Do you think he can actually speak English? I think he speaks a little bit. I think he speaks a little bit, can understand it more than he can speak it. But we're going to get into the Ortiz thing now. And this is the final topic. Right, so I don't have to keep you guys too long. 1.5 hours is good. AJ is a better inside fight. Yeah, I think so. I think so. But the ref, you see, when people, John Warrior's in the house, respect John. But when people say that the referee helped Joshua, that's where I say, well, it may appear that way, but in actual fact, did he actually help Joshua? Because if Joshua does better work than his opponent on the inside and the referee is stopping the inside work, then how is that really helping Joshua? You see what I'm saying? The referee is stopping them from doing inside work. Joshua does better inside work than his opponent. Then how is that helping Joshua? If anything, I would say the referee helped Parker more than Joshua. But there's a perception that because the referee was breaking them up and stopping them from doing inside work, that benefited Joshua more than Parker. My position is it helped Parker more than Joshua. So in the final analysis, the referee was helping Parker more than he was Joshua. But there is a perception that's the other way around. That's my perception on that. Okay. Leighton Evelyn says, yeah, you can say duck in English. Yeah, probably duck soup. Duck soup. You can definitely say duck soup. The referees can have stinkers too, says Marty Fieldman. Absolutely. Tommy Temper, I think Parker was more dangerous close in my. Well, yeah, I mean, I hear that. I disagree because with that uppercut, Joshua almost took his head off with an uppercut. But I hear what you're saying. Parker does have tools up close. Absolutely. Yeah, that's the way I saw the Parker. I saw it Parker. I saw it Parker, not AJ. The geezer says the referee was helping Parker more than AJ. Marty Fieldman, how much are referees paid? I have no idea, mate. I have no idea. Don't know how much referees are paid, and I don't know how much judges are paid. I know in the UFC, the referees and judge make a good living. In boxing, I would imagine it's the same. I don't know. I don't know about boxing. I really don't know. But it's a good question. I've thought about doing a bit of ref work and judging work. I've thought about it, particularly in MMA. Right. Okay. So my position, the uppercut was thrown when the ref was splitting them up. Well, there was a couple of uppercuts. There was one that was thrown when the ref was splitting them up, and there was one that was interrupted by the ref. I remember it clearly. There was an uppercut that was interfered with by the ref. At least one. Tommy. Okay. Right, I hear what you're saying. Right, so my position on Ortiz, right. Ortiz, I find the Ortiz disturbing. I find the way Ortiz is handled and managed, I find it disturbing. Something seems very, very wrong over there in Team Ortiz. Something seems unhealthy. Have you done any MMA RD? Yes. I took 10 years out of boxing, didn't watch boxing or anything for around 10 years, hardly ever. And I was always in training with MMA, have some inter gym clashes, competitions and what have you. So yeah, I left MMA for a good 10-year spell. For a good 10-year spell. Boxing was my first love. And then I fell in love with MMA. It was jiu-jitsu. I fell in love with jiu-jitsu. And then realized that jiu-jitsu ties into wrestling. So then I had to go to a Valley Judo school as well as the jiu-jitsu dojo. So I was doing jiu-jitsu and Valley Judo, anything goes. So obviously that encompassed wrestling and the punching and kicking. So that was great. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, so that was great. So I did those two for a good 10 years before the UFC started putting on crap cards, and I started to get disinterested in that, and then got back more into the boxing. So they are lying, Raph. Ortiz was still on Pets because he's manager. Okay, well, let's get into the chat and talk about this then. You can say, I think Parker was, the geezer. That's why I saw it. How much referees paid. Yep, the geezer. So why haven't you done the refereeing or judging? Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at refereeing and judging. I'm looking at it because I've got experience in multiple fields. The geezer asked me that. Tommy Temper says BJJ. Yeah, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Leighton Evelyn says they are lying, Raph. Ortiz was still on PEDS because his manager lied to make out it was his fault. Yeah. So obviously they didn't want the fight. I've done a video today. I think many of you will have seen it. And it's Eddie Hearns telling his side of the story, how Team Ortiz pretended that they were lowballed when they weren't. Eddie Hearn was sending offers direct to Jay Jimenez's phone, and then sent the $6 million offer to Jay Jimenez's phone. Jay Jimenez stopped responding. Oh, Jay Jimenez says, yeah, I'll go back to Luis and talk about it. Didn't respond anymore, cut off responding. Then Eddie sent the $7 million offer to Jay Jimenez's phone, and nothing. So Jay Jimenez knew all about it, but yet he goes on the Boxing Voice. Like I said last time, it was too convenient. It's the equivalent of the guy with a bootload of weed getting stopped by the police. The police said, I can smell weed. He said, yeah, sorry, officer, I was just smoking a joint. That was the smoke screen. I knew it was hiding a bigger issue. So, okay. So, Luis Ortiz, he worries me because he stays under the radar. It's almost as if he's wanted back in Cuba. I'm only half joking. It's almost as if he's wanted back in Cuba for some kind of serious crime, and he's trying to duck. He's trying to duck all the time. He doesn't want to be interviewed. I mean, the name of the game, he's a fighter. He's like a fighter from the 70s or the 80s, back in the day. The name of the game is to be publicized. You want publicity. I mean, a guy like Ortiz is a Cuban guy. They could market him as the salsa guy, the Cuban salsa guy. That guy, he's not in training camp all day. That guy could go on a program like Dancing with the Stars, the Cuban guy, the guy from Havana. They could market that guy in so many ways. The man from Havana barely speaks any English. He's not got a nice smile. He can go on there, Dancing with the Stars. He's still training, still keeping fit. Do your boxing training in the morning, Dancing in the Stars in the evening. It's a 6-week run. They could market that guy as the guy from Havana. You know, he's a fighter he's like a fighter from the 70s. I swear. You know, they could market him as the guy from Havana. He could be everywhere. He's a Cuban guy. He's got a nice smile. You know, he's not an ugly fella. He's grown. He's clearly grown. They could market that guy. They could market him. What the geezer says, what's the point of Jay Jimenez is doing? Of what he's doing? Well, what Jay Jimenez is doing was he was trying to imply that they were ready for the fight and they wanted the fight, whereas clearly in reality they didn't want the fight. They didn't want the fight. They didn't want the fight. So why didn't they want the fight? One thing we know is that Wilder has got a fight scheduled with him. They're going to give him a rematch. So we know that Wilder, one thing we know is that he looked like he fell off in his last fight. He began to show his age. We showed his age before, but he showed his age in his last fight. Looked like he was falling off. We know that Wilder likes soft touches. So Wilder wants him. He's getting soft now. Yeah. So let me just bring up Wilder's box rec. His last few fights. Box rec. BoxRec, Deontay Wilder. BoxRec, Deontay Wilder. Okay, so I should get screen share activated with this. I can't see anybody. I'm looking at this screen here. Okay, right, BoxRec. So let's scroll down. BoxRec, Deontay Wilder. So his next fight's going to be Dominic Breezel. I say soft touch. His fight before that was he thought was going to be a soft touch. He thought it was going to be a soft touch. It was Tyson Fury. It wasn't a soft touch. Okay. Luis Ortiz. That was a decent fight. That was a decent fight. Luis Ortiz almost knocked him out. The referee saved Wilder. Bermain Stavern. Terrible. The softest of touches. The softest of touches. I would have fought Bermain Stavern. I'm serious. I would have fought Bermain Stavern. Gerald Washington. Gerald Washington had Wilder in trouble, but yet he's a soft touch. Joshua couldn't fight Bermain Stavern. People would say that's ridiculous. That's a terrible mismatch. Wilder did. And Bermain Stavern is relatively inexperienced. Chris Arreola, an old school guy, has been battered and beaten, battered. He had Wilder on wobbly legs. Chris Arreola had Wilder on wobbly legs. Chris Arreola is not top ranked. If he wasn't the top 10, he just squeezed in, or the WBC pushed him up there because they knew they were fighting. He was fighting Wilder, which is a typical setup. Arthur Spilka is like ranked from 10 to 20 type of guy, you know, anyway. Where the hell is he even ranked? Where the hell is Arthur Spilka ranked now? I'm not even going to go into that. Juan Duapas, light heavyweight, really, you know, European light heavyweight ranking. I don't know where they've got him ranked, but, you know, Arthur Spilka and Juan Duapas, they're like, you'd rank them from like 10, 20 downwards. Eric Molina, once again, not a top guy, not a top 10 guy. Whether he's in the top 10 or not, you can't say an Eric Molina was a top guy. But Bermain Stavern, the first time, that was a bit of a half-decent test. Bermain Stavern went 12 rounds with him, but did get pinged up a lot. So Wilder's career has been built off soft touches for the greater part. Soft touches. So to get back to what Leighton Evelyn asked, or the geezer asked, I said, well, what was the point? What was Jay Jimenez trying to do? Jay Jimenez was trying to detract from the fact that Luis Ortiz either did not want to or could not fight him. Luis Ortiz is promised to Wilder. He's going to get a payday from Wilder, but it's not going to be anything like the $7 million that was being offered to him by Matchroom and DAZN. So it's like some kind of Twilight world. It's really like some Twilight world. The man's got a family. He's got a family to take care of, and obviously he wants to set them up when they leave home. And ideally, you want to be able to have them comfortable, so comfortable with education and whatnot, that they can make their kids comfortable. And yet he's turning down $7 million. Yet he's turning around $7 million. Marty Fieldman said never heard of Spilka or Duapas until Wilder fought them. Nobody had. Nobody had. Everybody had to research them. Everybody had to research them. You know, it's crazy. Going back, we see what like the sense turning down so much. Marty Fieldman said it really doesn't make sense turning down that much money. It really doesn't make sense unless he had some peds in his system. The thing that makes the most sense is that he had peds in his system. If you look at it like that, it makes all the sense in the world. Leighton Evelyn says he's a fighter from the 70s, just like a fighter from the. He's acting like a fighter from the 70s. He's acting like a fighter who doesn't know that mobile phones exist. He's acting like a fighter who doesn't know that Facebook and Instagram exist. He's acting like a fighter that doesn't understand that his value will go up with publicity. He's acting like he doesn't know and he doesn't care. It's the most bizarre thing in the world to me. Matter of fact, Luis Ortiz, to me, he acts like he's a hostage. He acts like he's in a hostage situation. He's got to play it safe, you know, he's got to play it straight, or else he'll be in trouble. It's the most bizarre thing in the world to me. Tommy Temple, all promoters are politicians. Yes, they have to be. They have to be. AJ equals Baba Yaga. What's Baba Yaga? Says John Warrior. AJ equals Baba Yaga. What's Baba Yaga? Tommy Temple open, yeah, said that. The geezer, crazy. He turned down 7 million. He won't get 7 mil from Wilder. I'd be surprised if you get half of that. 3.5. If he gets 3.5 from Wilder, yeah, well, that's good. But why not take the 7 million instead of waiting 6 months for 3.5? It makes no sense. It's the bizarrest thing. Ortiz is bizarre. His operation is bizarre. He acts like he's a hostage. He acts like he's a hostage. Ortiz was in World War. Well, he acts like I could see him in that little, that leather helmet. That little leather thing that the fighter pilots used to have, that leather thing and the goggles. Yeah, I could see him in the furry jacket, the jacket with the fur on the collar. It's mad, says Leighton Evelyn. Leighton Evelyn, the only reason he turned it down because of Peds. It's the most logical thing. It's the most logical thing. The geezer has to be Peds. Can't be any other reason. It's the most logical thing. Peds. Why would you who would turn down 7 million? He's not high ranking. AJ could turn down 7 million. Nobody else. Leighton Evelyn, definitely. Marty Fieldman, never heard of Spilky. Yeah, I did that one. Never heard of him either. Nobody heard of him outside of maybe Poland or wherever, Bulgaria. Leighton Evelyn, Wilder's record is shocking. Most of them are cruiserweights. Most of them are cruiserweights from Europe. Most of them are European cruiserweights. Tommy Temper, John Wick, Bagayaga, John Wick. Who the hell's John Wick? That's Tommy Temper. John Wick. No, man, I don't know. I don't know the reference, bro. Leighton Evelyn, of the film, John Wick, top film, Raph. That's Baba Yaga. Yo, I don't watch as many films as I should. It's funny. It's funny because I like film, but I don't watch them. That's mad. I don't watch them anymore. That's mad. According to the movie, John Wick, Baba Yaga is the guy you've seen to kill the freaking boogeyman. Oh, okay. Okay. Top film. Ortiz is Biggles. Straight up, says Tommy Temper. He might as well be. He's the Black Biggles. He's the Cuban Biggles. Where are we? Okay, so we talked about his profile. No social media. Yeah, no social media. He's got social media, but it's run by Jay Jimenez. His handlers. I mean, I'm going to start calling some of these handlers, I'm going to start calling them carers. Yeah, I'm going to start calling some of these handlers carers. I don't know if they're handlers or carers. I think Luis Ortiz and Deontay Wilder, they don't have handlers, they have carers. No social media. He's not accessible to the press. He seems like he's a hostage. Luis Ortiz seems like he's a hostage. Now, 4, it's as if he doesn't want to build his profile. Covered that. Man doesn't want to build his profile. Why would you not want to build your profile? It's complete and utter madness. 5, it's almost as if the guy wants to fly under the radar. Yeah, carers. He doesn't have handlers. He has carers. I see them as carers. It's like that he's in some kind of hospital and they got to keep him away from sharp stuff. Got to keep him away from edges. It's almost as if the guy wants to fly under the radar. Yeah. What the hell's his story? Who knows Who knows Luis Ortiz's story? When did he come from Cuba? What was his life like in Cuba? What's his life like now? He's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. Just zero profile. The game doesn't work like that anymore. The game just doesn't work like that anymore. It's a new world. It's a new way. It's different. It's changed. You have to get out there. He should have stayed with Eddie. He should have stayed with Eddie, says the geezer. Would have made him. Yeah, Eddie would have made him. Yeah, well, possibly, but I don't know because I don't think Eddie wanted him anymore. For those who don't know, Ortiz was with Eddie. Ortiz was under the Matchroom banner at one point. We didn't have any exciting fights. People say Eddie kind of manipulated the situation like that. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But the point is, the fights he did have, they weren't interesting and they weren't exciting. Tommy Temper says Eddie messed Ortiz about, in my opinion. He may have done. But he gave him 3 fights and he didn't impress in any of them. I can remember one was Allen. The other one was the guy who got knocked out by the Phantom Punch, Malik Scott, by the Phantom Punch from Deontay Wilder. And he didn't impress. It didn't impress, you know? So, you know, if you get a chance to shine, he did get a chance to shine, but he didn't impress. Mate, Ortiz looked awful against the White Rhino. Well, there you go. There you go. It looked awful. Awful. It did not impress. Did not impress. You know? Was Ortiz tested on the Matchroom? I doubt it. I doubt it. He wasn't in high caliber fights, and they only test for high caliber fights, so highly unlikely he was tested. Are you suggesting that's why it didn't look good? It's possible. It's possible that's why it didn't look good. But yeah, Ortiz just did not impress. And so you give a guy a chance, an opportunity, and he doesn't impress. What can you do? What can you do? You give him the chance, give him the opportunity, and he doesn't shine, then boom, that's on him. You know what I'm saying? That's on him. So, guys, that's all 3 topics wrapped up. That's 1 hour and 15, 16 minutes. We're 11 minutes. We beat 11. No, in 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes quicker than expected. So I'm going to do the final roll call. I'm going to do the final roll call. Let's start from the bottom. We got the geezer. What's the geezer say? And look what the LDBC think of him. Yeah, he's like, I don't really know what the LDBC think of him. I don't know what they think of him. They obviously see him as some kind of sideman, you know? They treat him like a sideman. So it's the final Aussie Moon. I can't wait for the Canelo victory. You guys heard it here for Canelo victory. Canelo being victorious. That's a surprise. Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. So Canelo, who's got Jacob beating Canelo? Who has Jacob beating Canelo? Oh, hit the like button, by the way. Yeah, good idea, Leighton. Who has Jacob beating Canelo? This is the last topic. See us out in the next 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Right. Because I don't have Jacob beating Canelo. I have Canelo beating Jacob. Don't get me wrong. No. Lane says not me. Tommy Temper. When are we having guests on? Yeah, well, Tommy, right now I'm running with this formula. I'm just getting myself acquainted with the technology. And when I'm comfortable with the technology, then I can just patch people in, say, yeah, boom, patch you in, boom, 10 minutes, talk about this topic, out. You know what I'm saying? Patch the next guy in, out, maybe. So my first priority is to get comfortable with the technology. As you may be able to see, I'm getting more comfortable with the technology. My heart says Jacob, my head says Canelo. Well, the thing is this. I think Jacob beat Triple G when they fought. I think Jacob beat Triple G. Yes, Tommy Stebber said it sounds good. Yeah. I think Jacob beat Triple G when they fought. But I think, to me, that was his apex. Jacob has to fight the judges as well. And I heard that they're thinking about having Madeline Bird. What's her name? Bird? The female judge who judged one of the fights with Triple G. There's word that she's going to be the judge for the Jacob fight, one of the judges in the Jacob fight too. So what the hell is that? If they're going to bring back Madeleine Bird or whatever her name is, and she's clearly something wrong with her judging skills, and they're going to bring her back for the Jacob fight. Adelaide Bird. Adelaide Bird. There's talk about her being a judge for the Jacob fight. No, she was just in the pool to choose from. Well, I hope so. She was just in the pool. She was just in the pool. They should have thrown her out of the pool. You know, they should throw her out of the pool. Leighton Evelyn says she was just in the pool. Tommy Temper says Adelaide Bird. Yeah, so hey, it would be fantastic if someone could knock the donkey meat out of Canelo. You know what I mean? If someone could knock the donkey kebab out of Canelo, that would be great. But at the moment, I think he's probably at his peak. He's probably at his apex right now. Whereas Jacob is coming down from his apex. Jacob beats Triple G, in my opinion. But from there, he's been coming down from his apex. He's not at his apex. So I think it's clear to me, I have to go with Canelo. I would be more than happy for Jacob. She has had some poor scoring. Yeah, she has had some pouring, says the geezer. I'll be more than happy for Jacob to spring a surprise. He could potentially spring a surprise. It would make me happy. It's nice to see the underdog sometimes because I'm kind of neutral on that fight. I don't have a horse in the race. I don't have a dog in the fight. Remember that dodgy judge from the first Lewis Holyfield? Yeah. I can't visualize it, but I do remember there being one dodgy one. Yeah, so I don't have a horse in the race. I don't have a dog in the fight. So, you know, it's very 50-50 to me. I give the edge to Canelo. No, hey, age is wisdom sometimes, my friend, Tommy Temper. So, yeah, I don't have a dog in the race, but I think that Canelo is closer to his peak, coming into his peak, whereas Jacobs is leaving his peak. Hey, I love surprises, certain surprises. So when I'm neutral, I'm on a neutral on this one. So if a surprise happens, that would be awesome. Okay, so that brings up to 10:22, and I am doing the final roll call. Tommy Temper in the house. Thank you. The Geezer in the house. Leighton Evelyn. Thank you. Tommy Temper still in. Marty Fieldman. Jacob has to fight the judges as well. Yes. Leighton Evelyn AD. My heart says Jacobs. My head says Canelo. Yeah, I hear that. Ped is in the house still. The Geezer. Right, who else? Who else have I not mentioned? Ozzy Moon came in and threw a grenade in. It was a good one. Yeah, mentioned the Jacob thing. I forgot to write that one down. AD, Geezer, Tommy Temper, Leighton Evelyn. Yes, John Warrior. John Warrior again. Marty Fieldman, I've mentioned the Geezer. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. No ladies, but yes, gentlemen. We've got through another one. This was the 4th edition. Thank you all for coming. It's Wednesday today. We're doing it again on Friday. Smash the like button. I know everybody has. It's been a good one, and peace out.